Hi, everybody. I'm Indigo from Creative Action.
And I'm Collin McMichael, the Education Coordinator at TreeFolks.
And today I'm going to be sharing an activity that you can do at home with supplies you have lying around the house, like scrap paper, cardboard, and tape. And we're going to be making our very own scrap paper tree sculptures. Ooh.
That looks awesome.
Thanks. I've made a lot of them because it's really fun to do. And
I'm excited.
Anybody can make these, and with any supplies that you have. So first you're going to need a base for your tree to live on. So get a piece of cardboard. Great. I like the way yours is shaped very organically.
Right? Yeah. I did not use scissors.
I'm going to make my base. I'm going to cut out a circle from the base of this.
I'm going to make mine a little cleaner.
If you like your circles to be perfect, you can always find something to trace out a circle on, like a roll of tape. You can lay it on top and draw it. But, I mean, are trees' bases perfect circles all the time? No.
They really are not. Yeah.
Then, once you have your circle, we're going to make the trunk of the tree using this leftover cardboard scrap pieces. So, just rip off a piece of cardboard. Like a little
Cardboard piece. There we go.
And I don't know if you've ever tried this, but cardboard has skin, and underneath is some interesting looking bones. So peel off the skin of the cardboard. I'm gonna leave some of this here for like mossy texture.
Nice, yeah.
And then what's neat about these bones is that it helps you roll it up. You just follow the grain of the paper.
Like that?
All right, now I'm gonna get some tape and prepare my tape. What kind of tape are you using, Collin?
I'm using Scotch tape.
Nice. I've got some blue painter's tape, and I also have some masking tape. The only tape that wouldn't work in this activity is probably duct tape because it's really plasticky. The clear tape is great because you can't tell it's plastic because you can see through it. So I'm going to peel some tape pieces so I don't get frustrated later.
Good idea, actually. Do that too.
The art of not getting frustrated while you're working on a project.
That is very important.
All right, here is an engineering tip that's going to help our tree base stick to our base. I'm going to reset that one.
Good.
Here's a tip to help your base attach to the tree. I'm cutting out some little, what do you call these, tabs.
All right. We're kind of making a root flare here.
Ooh. Yeah, these are the roots entering down.
So the root flare on a tree is actually one of the most important parts of a tree. Not a lot of people know this, but where the tree trunk kind of swells before the ground is a really important spot for the tree to breathe, because that's where all the roots get all their oxygen from. So it's one of those reasons why you don't want to pile mulch up against your tree. You just want to put it on the ground around the tree.
Oh, that's interesting. So this is kind of like their lungs right here?
Exactly. Well, the lungs for the roots.
Lungs for the roots. It's like a whale taking its last breath before it dives down.
Pretty much. That's really close. All right, like that?
Yeah, exactly. And then you just tape them onto the base of the ground. My tree has a little hollowed out part into it.
Ooh, nice. Tree hollows are actually really important in forest ecology because they're one of the spots where lots of animals like to live.
I would love to live in a tree hollow if I were an animal.
Right, though?
It would be super safe. So if you have extra pieces of cardboard, you can kind of do the same thing and attach them. But we're getting into the trunk building, so you can use some cardboard or some scrap paper. And this is going to be our technique for it. Grab it on two sides and twist it in an opposite direction, like this. Ugh. I'm going to get some big newspaper pieces. While we're doing this, you can think about all the frustrating things in your life, like climate change and about nature not being respected. Ugh. And if it breaks, that's okay too. Twist it up nice and it's got a nice texture on it. Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow, this one's really thick, so I think I can reinforce this tree hollow better so an animal can live inside of it.
My happy home. I already used all the tape that I had set out.
If you wanted to take this project to the next level, you can do some Mod Podge or some paper mache with this. We're pretty much making the skeleton of the tree right now. Can you hear that cat?
Yes.
Whoa, cool. I've got a nice strong edge now to it.
I'm trying to get like some spiral going on in my trunk.
Ooh, that looks good. I like thinking about, like, what if I used every piece of scrap paper that I create and turned it into a tree? Like, how big would my tree sculpture be?
That would be awesome. I want to make it
For it right now, really. How do the trees, like, decide which branches are going to be the biggest?
Well, that's actually a good question. So trees are weird in that they don't really have like a central nervous system, so they don't really make decisions like we make decisions. For them, it's more like each branch is its own thing that's competing. So the branch that ends up competing the best and getting the most sunlight gets the most resources and ends up growing the biggest.
So these branches had the best attitudes.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
The best location for the sunlight, so that's why they're the biggest. Cool.
There we go. I got my first branch on.
Woohoo! Ooh, is that an old piece of art?
It is, yeah. See, it's got some colors on it.
Yeah, this is a great activity for if your fridge is getting full of all of your quarantine art and you don't want to store it, you want to transform it, you can turn it into a tree.
Turn it back into a tree.
Yeah, back into a tree, that's right. What kind of trees are usually used to make paper?
So like a whole bunch of trees are used to make paper. Generally speaking, it's the wood pulp that gets turned into paper. So they take a wood pulp, they mix it with some water and glue, and then like spread that out to dry. So most of that wood pulp comes from lumber mills. And most of the lumber, especially here in the south of the United States, comes from what we call loblolly pines. If you've ever been to the Lost Pines, though, that's the pine trees we have there. So they're really, really common in East Texas, Louisiana, Georgia, and Alabama. And that's where the big pine plantations are, and they'll cut them all down, make them into paper, lumber, stuff like that.
So paper is kind of like the extra material, like they...
Sometimes they also just cut down trees for the paper. They'll pulp entire trees. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But those loblollies, they grow really, really quickly, and they replant them when they cut them down. So the forests are managed as forests, and not really so much just like big plantings.
Cool. Paper is one of my favorite materials in the world as an artist, and as I'm learning to be more digital and do things more online, I miss paper so much.
I hear you. One of the things I could never really get into digital books was because we can't have the tactile sensation of paper. I really love paper too.
It's so good. Wow. This tree is getting quite spooky.
Yeah, mine is too. Very good for like Halloween.
Yeah. Set it up and make some tiny little figurines of bats or cats.
That's good.
I wonder how old this tree would be.
Well, let's see. Hard to gauge just by looking at it because trees grow different rates depending on how much water they get. But you can kind of usually estimate based on species. I think, generally speaking, you go off of all the layers inside the tree. So I've been watching you make this. I'm going to say he's about 5 years old.
Wow, a 5-year-old tree.
It's a little one.
Yeah. Could it have a hole in it already, like a big...
Oh, yeah. Young trees get cavities in them just like large trees. All the things that happen to large trees happen to young trees too, just on a smaller scale.
Yeah, it looks all twisted up. I wonder if it was like in a windy area where it had to adapt to the wind.
Actually, trees in windy, really windy areas do what we call flagging. It's where all the branches end up growing in a single direction because the wind is just blowing that way. And so it's really cool. It looks like they're just always blowing in the wind, even when it's not windy.
That's awesome. There's such a good example for us for how to adapt to situations.
Yeah, actually, trees are really good at adapting.
And surviving.
Our native trees have some really cool adaptations to drought too. Drought's probably one of the biggest pressures we have on trees here in Central Texas. So we kind of straddle what's called the dry line. The 100th meridian was traditionally as far west as you could really grow trees. Now with climate change, it's the 98th meridian, and Austin is at 97. So it's pretty close. So all of our trees have to be really adapted to drought. A lot of them will do things like shade their canopy with branches above it. The branches above it are more or less sacrificial, so they just provide shade for the lower branches, and they don't actually photosynthesize at all.
Wow. So do they still have leaves on them?
They do, yeah. That's how they shade them. So those leaves, all leaves have little holes in them, and those holes are how the gas goes in and out. So it's where the CO2 goes in and the oxygen comes out. And they keep those holes closed when it's super hot and sunny, so they don't lose a lot of water as well.
Oh my goodness, that's really cool. I didn't know that. That's like me when well, it's like kind of like sweating, but the opposite. Instead of opening up your pores to let water out.
Close their pores when they get hot.
Yeah. Whoa. How's your tree coming along?
Coming along really well. I'm doing some roots right now.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, mine is getting kind of top heavy.
Yeah, I wanted to get them a little bit more secured.
And that Scotch tape looks like it's working really well. It's neat to see the art underneath.
Let's see. Can you bring me more tape? I'm out of tape.
We can find a stopping point too. I feel like this is
It's actually here with more. So here we go.
awesome.
I got big tape. More. Let's see. Here's my tree so far.
Woohoo! Wow, that looks really good. Here's mine too. Tree high five. Boop. Well, thanks for making this art with me, Collin. I hope you can keep adding on to it as you make more scrap paper.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to. It's turning out great. Look at this.
It looks really good. You could even decorate it for all the holidays if we find a way.
Yeah, I even have some like tiny Christmas decorations. There we go, hang them all there.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you have fun making this activity at home with your scrap paper. And check out creativeaction.com for more fun activities.
And check out treefolks.org for more of your tree fix.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.